Kami po yung na-assign sa Chapter 8, Securing Information System. Di ba na-post ko na po ito do sa Facebook, yung video ko po. So medyo, yung i-discuss ko ngayon, medyo iba dun sa na nasa video. May 4 na learning objectives. Ang i-discuss ko is yung number 1 tsaka number 2. Why are information systems vulnerable to destruction, error, and abuse? And second, what is the business value of security and control? Okay. Okay, the first topic is system vulnerability and abuse. Okay. Can you imagine what would happen if you tried to link the internet na walang firewall or antivirus software? Yung computer mo madi-disable in 2 seconds and it might take you many days to recover. And then pag ginagamit mo yung computer mo sa pagbenta sa customers or pag-place ng order, habang naka-down, you might find that your computer had been penetrated by outsiders who perhaps stole or destroyed valuable data, including confidential payment data from your customers. If too much data were destroyed or divulged, your business might never be able to operate. So, may dalawang terms na dapat nating tandaan which are security and controls. Security refers to the policies, procedures, and technical measures used to prevent unauthorized access, alteration, theft, or physical damage to information systems. While controls naman, there are methods, policies, and organizational procedures that ensure the safety of the organization's asset, the accuracy, reliability of its records, and operational adherence to management standards. Okay. Bakit nga ba vulnerable yung system? Okay, figure 8.1, contemporary security challenges and vulnerabilities. So pinapakita dyan na when large amount of data are stored in electronic form, they are vulnerable to many more kinds of threats than when they existed sa manual form. Through communications networks, information systems in different locations are interconnected. The potential for unauthorized access, abuse, or fraud is not limited to a single location but can occur at any access point in the network. Okay, topic 1.1, pa rin yung internet vulnerabilities. Large public networks such as the internet are more vulnerable than internal networks because they are virtually open to anyone. The internet is so huge that when abuses do occur, they can have an enormously widespread impact. So when the internet becomes part of the corporate network, the organization's information systems are even more vulnerable to actions from outsiders. Vulnerability has also increased from widespread use of email, instant messaging, and peer-to-peer file sharing programs. Email may contain attachment that serves as a springboard for malicious software or unauthorized access to internal corporate systems. So ito na yung mga malicious na software. Aware naman tayo doon sa mga viruses, worms, Trojan horses, and spyware. Itong PowerPoint is mostly the definition ng computer virus, worms, Trojan horse. Next one is SQL injection attacks and spyware. Ito naman yung examples ng mga malicious code. Siguro familiar naman na kayo dito like yung MyDoom A, Subic F, Melissa, and then yung I Love You virus. Siguro aware kayo dun sa I Love You virus kasi ito yung nanggaling sa Philippines. first detected on May 3, 2000, script virus written in Visual Basic Script and transmitted as an attachment to email with subject line, I love you. Yung damage niya is na-overwrites niya yung music, image, and other files with a copy of itself and did estimated $10 billion to $15 billion in damage. Okay, ito na yung mga hackers and computer crime. Yung hacker, aware naman tayo dito na individual who intends to gain unauthorized access to a computer system. Yung cracker naman, hacker siya with criminal intent. Hackers and crackers gain unauthorized access by finding weaknesses in the security protections employed by websites and computer systems, often taking advantage of various features of the internet that make it an open system that is easy to use. Cyber vandalism naman is hacker activities have broadened beyond mere system instruction to include theft of goods and information as well as system damage and cyber vandalism. The intentional disruption, defacement, or web destruction of a website or corporate information system. Examples ng mga computer crime, dalawa siya, computer as targets of crime and then computers as instrument of crime. Dun sa computer as targets of crime like breaching the confidentiality of protected computer's data, accessing computer system without authority. Yung computer naman, syempre, pwede rin naman siyang gamitin na pang-hack, like uh, theft of trade secrets, unauthorized copying of software, or copyrighted intellectual property such as articles, books, music, and video. Okay, spoofing and sniffing. Spoofing involves redirecting a web link to an address different from the intended one, with the site masquerading as the intended destination. A sniffer is a type of eavesdropping program that monitors information traveling over a network. It enables hackers to steal proprietary information from anywhere on a network, including email messages, company files, and confidential reports. Okay. Denial of service attack. Hackers flood a network server or web server with many thousands of false communications or requests for services to crash the network. For example, hours after the U.S. Department of Justice shut down file sharing site Mega Upload on January 19, 2012, the anonymous hacker collective launched extensive retaliatory DDoS attacks against federal and entertainment industry websites. Websites belonging to FBI, U.S. Department of Justice, and Motion Picture Association of America were knocked offline for a large part of the day. Computer crime. U.S. Department of Justice defined computer crime as any violations of criminal law that involve a knowledge of computer technology for their perpetration, investigation, or prosecution. The most economically damaging kinds of computer crimes are DOS attacks, introducing viruses, theft of services, and disruption of computer systems. Identity theft. With the growth of the internet and electronic commerce, identity theft has become especially troubling. Identity theft is a crime in which an imposter obtains key pieces of personal information such as social security numbers to impersonate someone else. The information may be used to obtain credit, merchandise, or services in the name of the victim or to provide the thief with false credentials. Yung phishing naman, it involves setting up fake websites or sending email or text messages that look like those of legitimate businesses to ask users for confidential personal data. The message instructs recipient to update or confirm records by providing social security numbers, bank and credit card information, and other confidential data either by responding to the email message, by entering the information at bogus website, or by calling a telephone number. For example nito, ang parang target nito is mostly yung mga online banking. So kaya naman yung mga bangko lagi nagre-remind sa atin through email na be aware ng mga phishing. Kasi akala mo yung website na pinapasukan mo is legitimate. Pero yung pala is parang nahack na siya, mukha lang siyang authenticate yung website, pero actually, pag in-enter mo na yung mga information mo doon, like yung username tsaka password, uh, parang kinokollect na niya. Ito na yung new phishing techniques called evil twins and farming are harder to detect. Evil twins are wireless networks that pretend to offer trustworthy Wi-Fi connection to the internet, such as those in airport lounges, hotels, or coffee shops. Click fraud. Click fraud occurs when an individual or computer program fraudulently clicks on an online and without any intention of learning more about the advertiser or making purchase. Click fraud has become a serious problem at Google and other websites that feature pay-per-click online advertising. Siguro aware naman kayo pag nagbabrowse tayo sa phone or sa computer, minsan may bigla na lang may nagpa-pop up na example, you won 1 million, tapos i-click mo yon. So, yun yung mga ganun, yung mga click fraud. Tsaka ginagamit din siya sa mga advertising na hindi ka aware na nagraran na pala siya dun sa phone mo. Ganun. Uh, Table 8.3, the five most expensive data breaches, like yung US Veterans Affairs Department, Heartland Payment Systems, TJX, Epsilon, Sony. Yung Sony, sinasabi dito na noong April 2011, hackers obtains personal informations including credit, debit, and bank account numbers from over 100 million PlayStation Network users and Sony Online Entertainment users. The breach could cost Sony and credit card issuers up to a total loss of $2 billion. Other topic is global threats, cyber terrorism and cyber warfare. Cyber warfare is defined as state-sponsored activity designed to cripple and defeat another state or nation by penetrating its computer or network for the purposes of causing damage and disruption. The vulnerabilities of the internet or other networks make digital networks easy to target for digital attacks by terrorists, foreign intelligence service, or other groups seeking to create widespread disruption and harm. Fourth topic, internal threats is yung mga employees. Employees have access to privileged information, and in the presence of sloppy internal security procedures, they are often able to roam throughout an organization systems without leaving a trace. The second main topic, business value of security and control. Uh, Maraming company ang reluctant na gumastos ng malaki sa security kasi nga hindi naman daw siya directly related sa sales revenue. Pero protecting information system is so critical to the operation of the business that it deserves a second look. Companies have very valuable information assets to protect. Systems often house confidential information about individuals' taxes, financial assets, medical records, and job performance reviews. They also can contain information on corporate operations, including trade secrets, new product development plans, and marketing strategies. Government systems may store information on weapon systems, intelligence operation, and military targets. Okay. These information assets have tremendous value, and the repercussion can be devastating if they are lost, destroyed, or placed in the wrong hands. Systems that are unable to function because of security breaches, disasters, or malfunctioning technology can permanently impact on a company's financial health. Uh, First topic ng main topic is legal and regulatory requirements for electronic records management. Ito is yung reference lang sa US kasi ito pero nilagay ko na lang din just in case for information like yung HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Accounting Act. Ito yung sa Medical Security and Privacy Rules and Procedures for simplifying the administration of healthcare billing and automating the transfer of healthcare data between healthcare providers, payers, and plans. Okay. The second one is Gumlich Billy Act, also known as Financial Services Modernization Act of 1999. All about naman to sa firm providing financial services. Yung pangatlo is Sarbanes-Oxley Act for those who work in publicity traded company. Okay? Dito naman sa Pilipinas, na-search ko yung laws, policies, standards enforced relating sa cyber information security. So very much aware tayo doon sa Data Privacy Act of 2012 and then yung RA 8792 E-Commerce Act. Yung sa kanina pala, yung counterpart natin dito sa yung Health Insurance Portability and Accounting Act, recently kasi yung House Leader has proposed the acceleration of the National ID System and the passage of Electronic Health and Telemedicine Development Act to prevent fraud in claims and benefits at the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation. Sa tingin ko kasi parang nag-emanate lang to doon sa yung regarding sa scandal doon sa PhilHealth, yung sa pag-claim ng mga COVID patients, yung mga nadadoble daw just in case. So kaya nag-propose yung House Leader ng tinatawag niya na Electronic Health and Telemedicine Development Act. Okay. This one naman is yung sa Data Privacy Act. Unauthorized processing of personal information and sensitive personal information. Yung penalty niya ay nagkakahalaga ng 500,000 to 2 million pesos and pagkakakulong ng 1 to 3 years. Okay. Tsaka yung nabanggit ko kanina, yung sa I love you virus, nung ba dito? Nung July 2000, kasi yung gumawa nun, although inimbestigahan siya ng NBI, hindi rin siya nakulong kasi nung time na yon walang law na nagko-cover regarding doon. So kaya naisipan na naman na gumawa ng batas tungkol doon, which is yung e-commerce law nga nung July 2000. Meron din tayong nagko-cover naman regarding sa bank secrecy law, yung prohibits the disclosure of or inquiry into all deposits in banks and banking institutions in the Philippines. Section 2 of the Bank Secrecy Law provides that all deposits in whatever nature with banks or banking institution are an absolutely confidential nature and may not be examined, inquired, or looked into by any person, government official, bureau, or office. So sa opinion ko lang, usually ito yung laging nagiging defense ng mga officials, government officials na pag yung mga yaman nila para hindi siya ma-imbestigahan, parang lagi siyang ginagawang defense regarding sa bank secrecy law. Okay. Ito naman yung sa e-commerce law. Ito yung regarding sa mga hackers tsaka crackers yung na-discuss kanina. Ang penalty niya is, ano ba dito? 100,000 and a maximum commensurate to the damage incurred and a mandatory imprisonment of 6 months to 3 years. Next topic is electronic evidence and computer forensics. Legal cases today increasingly rely on evidence represented as digital data stored on portable floppy disk. Pero wala nang masyado nga yung floppy disk or CD, mostly flash drive na lang, as well as in email, instant messages, and e-commerce transaction over the internet. Email is currently the most common type of electronic evidence. Computer forensics is the scientific collection, examination, authentication, preservation, and analysis of data held one or retrieved from computer storage media in such a way that the information can be used as evidence in a court of law. It deals with the following problems: recovering data from computers while preserving evidential integrity, securely storing and handling recovered electronic data, and so on. Electronic evidence may reside on computer storage media in the form of computer files and as ambient data which are not visible to the average users. An example might be a file that has been deleted on a PC hard drive. Data that a computer may have deleted on computer storage media can be recovered through various techniques. Computer forensics experts try to recover such as hidden data for presentation as evidence. Okay, to summarize yung dalawang nabanggit ko na learning objectives kanina, bakit yung information system are vulnerable to distraction, error, and abuse. Digital data are vulnerable to distraction, misuse, error, fraud, and hardware or software failures. The internet is designed to be an open system and makes internal corporate systems more vulnerable to actions from outsiders. Hackers can unleash denial of service attacks or penetrate corporate networks, causing serious system disruption. Wi-Fi networks can easily be penetrated by intruders using sniffer programs to obtain an address to access the resources of the network. Computer viruses and worms can disable systems and websites. The dispersed nature of cloud computing makes it difficult to track unauthorized activity or to apply controls from afar. Software presents problem because software bugs may be impossible to eliminate and because software vulnerabilities can be exploited by hackers and malicious software. And users often introduce errors. Yung second learning objectives naman is what is the business value of security and control? Lack of sound security and control can cause firms relying on computer systems for their core business function to lose sales and productivity. Information assets such as confidential employee records, trade secrets, or business plans uh, lose much of their value if they are revealed to outsiders or if they are exposed to legal liability. May na-cite lang ako doon sa reference namin na discussion question. Like yung first is, sinasabi na security is not simply a technology issue. It's a business issue. Okay, babasahin ko na lang dito yung sagot dito. Sabi, as the lines between work and play blurs due to the advances of technology, it becomes more apparent that information security within the workplace is not just the IT department's issue. Information or data is a business enabler. It enables operation and productivity, so the security of it should be viewed as essential and promoted throughout the company. But in most cases, it is not. Is this because we instinctively protect what we can see in front of us like buildings, personnel, hardware, the tangible asset, but we neglect the intangible such as information because we struggle to see the physical value of it? Or is it the general attitude towards data security, the idea that we just need to do enough to meet regulations and compliance standards? IT security should be seen as a task to minimize risk for an organization. The risk management is not just limited to IT department or within the office because, let's face it, many of us do work a little when we get home, even if it's just checking our emails. Employees' use of unauthorized personal mobile devices can be a threat because it is an unknown object on the IT network. For example, if a user was to save business data onto an unauthorized device and then it was infected by malware, the data could end up in the wrong hands. However, it is not about the IT department forbidding personal devices. If devices are approved, then it is safe to have on the network. It's all about having policies in place and training employees on how to access business data securely. The training should not be limited to the use of mobile devices, but general IT security practices like always encrypt email containing sensitive data or never write login credentials on a piece of paper. It is also important to ensure staff are aware of social engineering because no matter how protected an IT network is, there is always the possibility of external threats getting in like crypto wall which tricks users into opening infected attachment, exploit security gaps in Silverlight, Flash, and Java. Then similar to CryptoLocker, it will encrypt your files and demand a ransom. Regular IT network assessments are recommended. Not only will it help protect and minimize potential security risks, it can also be an opportunity to assess the efficiency levels of the network. There will be a possibility of breach in a security for every company. It could be due to cyber attack, human error, social engineering, etc. But if risk management is a common goal amongst every employee, not just the IT department, it can help manage and minimize security risk in the long run. Second and last one po is suppose your business had an e-commerce website where it sold goods and accepted credit card payments. Discuss the major security threats to this website and their personal impact. What can be done to minimize these threats? Actually, may magdi-discuss naman nung e-commerce, pero iano ko na lang. E-commerce involves transaction of any kind of business done over an electronic system. This kind of business involves transaction that takes place over internet. E-commerce utilizes internal networks that interfere with the World Wide Web. The nature of this kind of business introduces internal and external risk to both the website and the business system to which it is connected to. An e-commerce website can be face some security threats that have to be addressed to avoid any losses and intrusions. Things have been run well but later have to face some security threats. Here are some of them. E-commerce websites are vulnerable to fraud from internal and external sources. Fraud incidents include credit card fraud, which exposes the website to threat from clients and any other external sources in internal fraud. Any fraudulent transactions being entered into the system from employees such transaction can also be introduced into the system by hackers or Trojan horses, which resemble the real customer transactions. To prevent fraud scoring must be used. It is a system of predictive fraud detection models or technologies that payment processors use to identify the highest risk transaction in card not present environment that require additional verification. So usually yung mga online payments natin, kung napapansin natin, meron na siyang one-time PIN. Pag nag-transact tayo online, one security is yung kailangan muna ng one-time PIN before makapag-proceed tayo dun sa transaction. And the last one, a website that has been invaded by viruses and malicious software can come crashing, which will make the website lose the entire information, causing losses to the e-commerce business. This can cause the clients to lose trust in the business. And as a result, they can close their accounts on the website. Loss of information on a website can be devastating for both the business owner and the client, especially if the information was not backed up. That's all. Thank you, sir. Thank you, classmate, for listening.